This conference will now be recorded.
With our July 6th launch date fast approaching, it's important that we prioritize our tasks as we work to transform our pages on the new site. Our number one priority is to update the content on the new pages. Remember, we cloned the new pages from the old ones back on May 26. Therefore, if you've added any new pages to the City 2014 site or updated any content on existing City 2014 pages, you'll need to make the exact same additions and updates to your pages on the City 2020 site. To help in this process, I recommend that you use the Recently Accessed list on your Start dashboard. Your Recently Accessed list will show your latest 5 pages that you've updated, and you can click the More Details link for a complete list of pages and more information about the pages that you've updated. So here on my Recently Accessed list, it shows that I updated a page called West 12 days ago. So the first thing I'll do is head over to the West page on the City 2014 site. Once I'm on the page, I'll identify the content that I updated. I'll identify the block or blocks that contains the updates. In this case, it's the raw HTML block that I added to the page and the YouTube video embed that I added to the block. So now that I've identified this update, I can head over to the same page on the City 2020 site, add the raw HTML block to that page and the YouTube code to the block. Or you might consider copying the block of content to the block library. Every block on your page has the Copy to Block Library button available. When you click the Copy to Block Library button, the Copy to Block Library box opens. You'll need to give your block a name. I'll simply call this West Video and copy it to your personal library. Click Create. And now, when you head over to the identical page on the City 2020 site, and you can identify it with the copy one suffix here and the page URL, edit the page, hover over the Add New Block drop-down list, scroll down to the Personal Block Library section, and under, in my case, Raw HTML, I'll click West Video to copy it down to the page. And now my update for the page is complete. If the additions that you've made or the updates that you've made involve adding an entirely new page to the City 2014 site, let's say on May 27th, I added a new page to the site and added my content to the page. That means the page did not get cloned over on May 26th. And what I need to do in this case is add the new page to the same section in the City 2020 site and add the content to the page to make the update. So while updating your content is priority one, and you could just go through all of your page updates at once and then come back and work your way through priorities 2, 3, and 4, here's a tip that you might want to consider completing the remaining priorities on your page while you're already editing and updating the page's content. So in this case, I'll scan my West page to see if any of the priority 2, 3, and 4 updates are necessary. So before we review the remaining priorities and the things you should do before the launch, I want to take a minute to talk about what not to do. There are several things that you should not do or must not do in the next several days leading up to our update. 1, do not move or copy pages between the City 2014 and City 2020 sites. I just showed you a process to copy blocks of content up to the block library and back down to the City 20 page, so you can use that method to copy things on the block level. But on the page level, you should not move entire pages or copy entire pages between the two sites. Do not change the City 2014 or City 2020 page URLs. Do not add any City 2020 URL aliases. Do not update links within the freeform block, and do not delete unwanted pages. So number one, as I've said, do not move or copy pages between the City 2014 and City 2020 sites. On May 26th, we made the one and only clone and copy and move. And until then, you should not move any more or copy any more pages between the sites. If you do, when we launch, those pages will not appear on the site. Do not change the City 2014 page URLs under Properties or the City 2020 page URLs under Properties. We've identified the current page URL and mapped it over to and put a temporary URL in place on the City 2020 site, and we'll need those to remain exactly the same so that the pages will appear when we launch the new site. While it is okay to continue to add or delete URL aliases on the City 2014 site and pages under Properties, do not add URL aliases on the City 2020 site. This field, as you see, is empty and blank, and it should remain that way until we launch and copy the City 2014 aliases over. Do not update links within the freeform block. This is a good thing, because as you can see, even this one block in this one section has many links within the freeform blocks. So if we did need to update all of these links, that would be a big task and take a long time. So all of the links within the freeform block are good to go. You do not have to spend time. We will remap them automatically during launch. I strongly recommend that you do not delete any unwanted pages. Instead, under Properties, hide the page from display. During the next several days until we launch the new site, if you delete a page from the City 2020 site because you think you don't need it, if later it turns out you do, unfortunately, you will not be able to retrieve it. So let's move on to the priority 2. Remap selected pages in the filter and page share blocks. The filter block and the page share blocks are two blocks where when you edit the block content, you have to select the pages that you want to share the content from or appear on your filter block list. Currently on the City 2020 site, so this is my City 2020 site, and I identify a page share block. When I click the Edit This Block button, the selected page actually points to a page on the City 2014 site. What I need to do is go under the City 2020 globe, find the corresponding identical 2020 page, and select that page in the block as well instead. And then for the filter blocks, if I go to my City 2020 page and identify a filter block, if I click the Edit This Block button, the selected pages are actually pages from the City 2014 site. So I need to uncheck those pages, go over to the City 2020 site, identify the exact same pages on the 2020 site, and select those instead. Also, if you have any manual priorities selected, you'll have to reset those for your City 2020 pages in the filter block edit button.